And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Welcome back to the Battle Belongs podcast. I'm Coleton Furlow, your solo host today. My partner in crime is not with me, but take a deep breath in. Smell that? Do you smell that? Smells like freedom. Freedom indeed is back in the United States of America because Donald J. Trump has returned to the White House in what I'd say is the most historic political comeback in the history of the United States of America. Just 4 years ago, we watched our country crumble because of Joe Biden. That was the start of the crumble, and it continued to crumble for 4 years under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I'd say Joe Biden too, because I don't think any of us believe that Joe Biden was actually running the country this entire time. I think Joe Biden was in there pulling some strings, and I'm not sure about Kamala because she seems more incompetent than Joe Biden is, and Joe Biden's 80 some years old, and Kamala, she's just stupid. She doesn't have a brain. She doesn't have any common sense. She doesn't have any policy, and there's a reason why she lost. It's because there was no substance. The only reason why she was put in the place that she was because she's, number one, a woman, number two, a woman of color, and number three, well, there is no number three. There was the only two reasons why. She was a woman and a woman of color. And that's the only reason why that she was vice president. And that just came back and bit them in the butt. We heard this entire campaign process that the election was going to be about abortion and all of these woke ideologies. And it turns out the American people don't care about that. They just want to be able to afford their groceries. They want to be able to afford the gas to put in their cars. They just want their kids to be protected from this indoctrination when they go to schools. And they don't want weird people, weird men dressing up as women and dancing on top of the children or reading books to the children. And they don't believe that, we should just be killing babies left and right. That's what America voted for. And we are tired of the Democrat Party and the woke policies that have absolutely destroyed America over the past 4 years. But good news, the Lord is still good. He provided for us. He delivered us a win. And what I would say, he's watching over us. And I think the win was God ordained. I think he still has hope for America, for us to turn it around. And, one of the biggest takeaways I've seen over this past 2024 year is that more Bibles have been sold and bought in 2024 than I think ever recorded in history. So I think America has been at a turning point. They've seen the evilness coming out of the Democrat Party. They've seen the evilness from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, all of them, Adam Schiff. I mean, the list goes on and on. Nancy Pelosi, AOC. They're all evil people, in my opinion. And America has seen what the evilness does to our country and what it does to society. And they said, none of that, no more. And they picked the party and the guy who is going to protect our religious liberties, who's going to protect our constitutional freedoms, who is going to protect our nation, protect our borders, protect our children in the schools, protect the life of the unborn. Not to the extent that I would like him to, but at least he's doing that. And we're going to talk about all of that here in a little bit. But it's just like a breath of fresh air. It's a nice breath of fresh air to be able to just relax. And it really didn't even set in that Donald Trump has returned to the White House until I think yesterday and maybe 2 days ago. So I'm recording this on Thursday, releasing it on Friday, right after the inauguration, releasing it on the 24th, I believe. Yes. And it's just now setting in that Donald Trump is back in the White House. And he's done so much. I think he's done more in 4 days than Joe Biden has done in 4 years as president already. And we're going to get into the executive orders that he's doing, what Congress is doing, what they're passing, and just everything that is going on ever since the inauguration. But I kind of want to break down the inauguration for this episode and just do like a week one of Donald Trump's presidency, since we haven't really talked politics on this podcast in a long time. PJ was out. He's on a cruise. He's getting back right now as I'm filming this, but we didn't have time to film it before Friday to get it out. So I thought it would be a perfect time to do a full political type episode. We were kind of joking last week of how I said it's going to be a lot of politics and Jesus mixed in, and he was like, well, shouldn't it be like Jesus and then like everything trickles down from that? And I'm like, well, if we're Christians and we're talking about Jesus, then everything's intertwined with it. And politics matter because it affects us. And it should matter to Christians because the law of the land should reflect the law of the Bible, especially in the New Testament. And I just think that more Christians should be involved in politics, and I think they have been over the past year. I think over the past 4 years, Christians have really stepped up, and they delivered us a beautiful win in this past November. So I just think that anytime that we talk about politics, we are talking about Jesus because the Bible should dictate how we view the world, how we should view policy, how we should view governing in America. So I think that once you're talking about politics, you're also talking about Jesus. Anyway, back to this. So PJ, I kicked him out for a week so I could talk about Donald Trump. Just kidding. But I was supposed to go to the inauguration. It was originally going to be me and my Nana going to it. I got 2 tickets from Congressman Russell Fry here in South Carolina, and I had to go up north anyway because it was my cousin's 18th birthday. So I was going to go, and me and my Nana were going to drive down to Frederick area in Maryland on Sunday night and stay the night and then get up early and head into the city because all of the hotels were sold out ever since the election back in November after President Trump won. So we're going to do that. And then it ended up being so cold in the forecast, like teens with wind chill, and they decided to move it inside. And I was really upset about that because I was so excited to like kind of be close to it. I've never been to an inauguration before, and this is like, I feel like the only one that I would ever want to go to because it's just such a historic comeback for President Trump. And you know me, I didn't like Trump at the beginning of his campaign in 2016, 2015, but then I've just grown to love the guy and love him as a president. And so I just really wanted to be there to see him. So it was unfortunate that it was moved inside. I understand it. They didn't want people to get sick or anything. But I also think it was a security thing, and they just lucked out that it was happening to be like very cold. And they could kind of use that as an excuse to go inside. But Donald Trump has been almost assassinated, at least 2 times, possibly 3 times, Butler, PA, and in Florida. And I think that they just did not want to take any safety risks with that. So I completely understand it. Unfortunate for me in a selfish way. So I didn't end up going. As you all know, that they had the watch party in the Capital One Arena where the Wizards and the Capitals play basketball and hockey, but we just didn't even decide to go to that because the tickets wouldn't get you in there, and you probably had to get there at like 3 a.m. just to get inside. And I was not going to do that and stand in the cold for that. So I ended up working and staying home and watching it on TV. And it was a day to remember. Even though I was at home watching it, it was a historic day. I think it was a great day for America that we are just starting to turn things around from the Biden regime that has just completely crippled the American economy, the American pocketbooks. America on the global stage will not respect it anymore. Well, I think we are now, thanks to Donald Trump. But Joe Biden has just done so much damage. And I don't necessarily just say Joe Biden. His regime, his administration, everyone in there has just done such harm to America that it's going to take a long time to unravel the destruction that he has caused on this nation. But we are headed in the right direction with President Trump. So before President Trump even got to Inauguration Day, he did a win for, I'd say, over 100 and some million Americans who have TikTok downloaded on their phones and use it, whether it's a small business where you're a content creator, whether you're just someone who likes to watch TikTok. President Trump brought TikTok back because it expired on the 19th, the day before the inauguration, and he said that he was going to put forth an executive order to halt the banning of TikTok in America until they could see if they could work out a deal. So I think it's like a 60-some day halt on this ban. Congress passed it that the president can ban it, and it was set to expire on the 19th because Joe Biden wanted it banned, and President Trump, I guess, had negotiations with the CEO and everything, and he halted it. And I think it was a win for a lot of Americans, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's a business guy. He knows how to deal. He knows how to negotiate, and he's not going to allow TikTok to stay in America if it's going to further hurt Americans, if China's going to continue to spy on Americans and steal our data. And he knows that. He's made that very clear. But he says if we can get a good deal out of it, then why not keep it? And I mean, 100 million Americans use it, so why not try to keep that in their best interest? Well, when it was canceled and they took it off on the 19th, it was the night, I don't know if it was the night of the 19th or the morning, but anyway, when I got on it, there was a notification that says TikTok is not available in your country right now. Something about President Trump is in like talks or negotiating or something like that. So then the next day when it was brought back, I mean, it was only out for maybe 12 hours, and I'm sure the Europeans loved that and really missed the Americans on there. But when it came back on, it said, thanks to President Trump. And I'm pretty sure the left had a meltdown over that. All the leftist content creators, some people, even Harry Sisson, however you say his last name, Harry Sissy Boy, he was even praising Joe Biden and saying, thank you, Joe Biden, for bringing it back, when it had absolutely nothing to do with Joe Biden. It even clearly said from TikTok, the CEO who made the announcement when you got back on the app, thank you, President Trump. And these leftist lunatics continue to misinform the public, they continue to lie, and they're just some stupid people. And I'm just so happy to see them like in shambles right now that Donald Trump is back in office. So before he even took office, he just did great. He did a great thing. And I was able to grow on TikTok over the past 4 days because of something that we'll get into in a second. Let's see here. So the next day, the 20th, was Inauguration Day. And I think everything was kind of going swell. President Trump went to the White House and met Joe and Joe Biden alongside Melania, which we didn't see 4 years ago because Donald Trump did not meet Joe Biden. He did not accept them. He did not concede the election. He left. He didn't go to the inauguration. So it was good to see this like civil transfer of power, but then the left was like, well, see, this is how it's done, and Donald Trump should have acted this way 4 years ago. I get the argument, but I don't think it's the same, because I think we saw so much fraud in 2020 that a lot of people rightfully don't believe that Joe Biden won the election fair and square, and I think they have every right to believe that. There's a lot of evidence out there indicating that, and you know, what's in the past is in the past, and I don't think it's ever going to happen again. And sure as heck, Donald Trump will not let this happen in the coming elections, no matter who's running on the Republican ticket. I don't think he's going to allow it to happen. But it was good to see that Joe Biden and Joe Biden were there, and they kind of got along, and they went in and had tea, and they did all the different rituals and stuff. And Kamala Harris seemed pretty decent. She didn't make a show or make a fool out of herself, I don't think, at all. So it was a very civil day, but I know inside that they are like heartbroken, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice after the horror story that we've been in for the past 4 years, just to see them like sad and mopey and frowns on their face and disgust on their face when President Trump was walking around and, you know, back in the White House and all that. And it was just a good feeling for the people who have been slandered, the people who have been persecuted and prosecuted by the Joe Biden administration, and in the eye of the public opinion. It was just good for all the people who have just gone through hell because of Joe Biden and his regime. So once they got to the Capitol, they were kind of running late already, and you could tell by the Constitution that the current president's term ends at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern on January the 20th. So there was like this time crunch that they had to get there. And this is a very formal ceremonial thing that they have to go through where they announce certain people and they walk in, like the cabinet, they announce the cabinet, and then they walk in, and then they announce the family walks in, they announce the former presidents, they come in. Let's see, we had Bill Clinton there with Hillary, which was shocking to see. I didn't think they were going to show up. We had George Bush and Laura Bush there. And we had Barack Obama. Michelle was not there. What's going on? Where is she? Where is Michelle Obama? Is she having some type of surgery? Wink, wink, if you know what I'm talking about. Where is Michelle Obama? So she didn't show up, which I thought was kind of stupid and ridiculous. But she didn't show up for Jimmy Carter's funeral either, which I didn't understand. I guess she's in Hawaii still. Not sure. Trying to find Barack Obama's birth certificate, I guess. But the rest of them showed up, which was nice. But all this formality stuff, they come in and sit down. Well, you can see that the clock is getting close to 12 before President Trump even walks out. And so when they finally do, Amy Klobuchar, she was like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Inaugural Ceremonies or something like that. So she was like the one who was like head of the planning and leading it all. So she gets out and she does this speech that I felt like took way too long than it needed to. She talked in circles and really didn't say much. And then they had Fisher, I believe was her last name. Another senator, she was the Republican senator who kind of talked, and then it was time for J.D. Vance to be sworn in. He was sworn in by Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice, who's a conservative, obviously. And it was kind of like a lengthy swearing in, the oath of office for J.D. Vance. And he did his right hand, his left hand on the Bible. Usha Vance was out there, and their kids were all out there. And he was sworn in. And it was past 12 when he was sworn in. So I think he was sworn in around 12:01. So then President Trump starts to walk over as Usha, the kids, are being ushered back, and J.D. Vance was kind of getting out of the way. And you could start to tell that there was just some franticness, and that they were trying to get this done and over with, and they were trying to get President Trump sworn in, because technically we didn't have an actual president for however long that was. J.D. Vance was the acting president if anything would happen, but we did not have a president sworn in. He was sworn in as vice president. So as President Trump is walking over, Chief Justice Roberts comes over and basically says, raise your right hand, and starts going into the oath before Melania even gets there with the Bibles. And one Bible was Abraham Lincoln's Bible, I believe, and then the one on top of it was President Trump's mom's Bible. So I think they took the whole Bible thing very, very seriously. But Justice Roberts starts the oath before President Trump even gets to where he was supposed to be, I guess, and then before Melania even gets up to President Trump with the Bibles. So President Trump didn't have his hand on the Bibles, which caused an uproar on social media. I posted about it on Twitter, and I didn't blame President Trump at all. I blamed Justice Roberts for rushing the entire thing. I get it if there's a time crunch, but what's 5 more seconds for Melania to get up there by her husband, let alone the entire family wasn't even able to get around President Trump like J.D. Vance's family was. Usually you have the family all around, standing around them when he takes the oath of office, but that didn't happen. They were still walking up when the oath of office was already taken. So there was an uproar on social media about it. I posted about it. It did numbers on Twitter. And I was just blaming Justice Roberts, take 5 more seconds. You could have done that, man. And apparently he screwed up the past 2 oath of offices for president. I don't know. I don't remember. I choose not to remember the Obama and the Biden inaugurations, if he even did them. But then I posted a TikTok about it all, and it's almost up to 1 million views right now. Let's check it just to see, because I do want to see. And I was basically just talking about exactly what I just told y'all, explaining that President Trump didn't neglect the Bible and didn't put it on there. It's up to 962,000 views. Wow. It's like reminding me of the days when I was going viral on TikTok, and then they banned me. Thank you, China, and censorship. So that was the whole Bible scandal with President Trump. I don't think he meant to do it. I don't think he was even really focusing on anything else other than the oath once it was started, because if you mess it up, you have to redo it. And I didn't think he wanted to do that. So that was the Trump Bible controversy. Everything else after that, I thought his speech was great. I thought it was firm. I thought it was stern. And I thought he balanced it out pretty well of, hammering Joe Biden and the failures while also giving hope and a future to America and what's coming. And he declared it that the golden age and the golden years of America has begun. And I cannot wait to see what all he has in store for this country. And he got right to work. He did not hesitate one bit. He went down and did another speech in front of his supporters and then had their formal lunches and everything. And then he went over to the Capital One Arena to meet the supporters there. And he immediately started signing executive orders in front of his supporters at the Capital One Arena. And man, this guy, they were prepared. The Trump administration and his staff was prepared going into the White House of what they're going to do starting less than 5 hours after he's already inaugurated. They hit the ground running on day one. So basically he one of his first executive orders was like overturning 70 some executive orders of the Biden administration, and the crowd went nuts for that. I'm just going to read through some of the names, the headlines of some of these executive orders that I think are really important. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. We saw that was a big thing with Mark Zuckerberg of Meta and Facebook. He came out and saying that, America needs to be restored to free speech, blah, 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 blah. And just a few years ago, they were bashing Trump and, censoring conservatives, but they want to be on Trump's good side. So I guess they're bringing free speech back. And I'm totally okay with it because I was banned so many times and I'm still being censored on Facebook and Meta. So hopefully that gets worked out. But I think it's just criminal that you can't speak your mind no matter what it is, unless it's like threatening violence against an official or another person. I think that's where you draw the line, is threats of violence. But anything else, like it's your own opinion, whether you like the person or not, whether you disagree, whether you're praising them or bashing them, unless it's in a harmful way, like a physical harm and attack, then I think you should be able to say what you want. That's the free speech that we have in our country. He also signed the ending the weaponization of the federal government. I think we all know this was coming after President Trump was put on a witch hunt trial for 4 straight years during the Biden administration. And it all started back in 2015 when President Trump decided to run for office, that they started coming after him. The Russia hoax, impeachment 1, impeachment number 2, and then they raided his house, and then they indicted him, and then they try to lock him up and all of that stuff. So I think ending that is great because it sends a message that he's also not going to do that to, his political enemies. But he's not going to not go after the people who actually committed crimes. Donald Trump didn't commit any of the crimes that they said. They just didn't like him, and he was a political opponent, and that's why they went after him. Return to in-person work for federal employees. Thank God I'm not a federal employee. I'll just leave it at that because I do not work in person. I work remotely. Thank you, Lord. Regulatory freeze, which is pending review, and a hiring freeze. So, we're already stopping the wasteful spending in the government, which is great. Delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis thanks to the Joe Biden regime. He is putting America first in international environment agreements. That is getting out of the Paris Climate Accord, and another one was withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. We pay way too much in these agreements when all of these other countries are contributing to the world's destruction, if you believe in climate change, more than we would be, and they're paying less than half of what we pay as a country. Let's see. He granted the pardons of all of the people who were arrested, thrown in jail, indicted for January 6th, which I think caused a ruckus on the Democrat side. And it's so ironic because many of these people didn't even commit crimes. They didn't even really step foot in the Capitol. Some people were just around the Capitol and got arrested. Even if you're walking through the Capitol, I thought that was kind of ridiculous that you would get arrested. So they're in an uproar. They're saying that these people were beating police and that they killed police. Well, the only person who died on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt, and she was a Trump supporter, and she was shot by the Capitol Police. No police died at the hands of any January 6th protesters from Trump supporters. It's false. It's a lie. And it's that toxic empathy that they try to get you in with, and they try to get you to latch onto it and feel bad for these people. And that's just not the case. It's a bunch of lies. And they did not die from the January 6 people. But it's so funny, though. My point was that they got so upset about Trump pardoning these people when Joe Biden, right before Trump took the oath of office, pardoned his entire family without them being indicted for a crime. And his reasoning was, well, just because I'm pardoning them doesn't indicate that they committed a crime. But we know that Donald Trump wants to go after his political opponents. Pot, meat, kettle. Pot, meat, kettle. Joe Biden and his administration literally did that to a T. They went after their political opponents. They went after pro-lifers who President Trump just pardoned 23 peaceful pro-lifers who were locked up unlawfully because they were peacefully protesting abortion clinics. They were outside praying. They were singing hymns. They were worshiping the Lord in protest of the slaughter of unborn lives, and they were thrown into jail. Some of these were elderly people who were thrown in for 2 to 4 years, and it was just disgraceful that we have a country that prioritizes releasing illegal immigrants into our nation scotch-free after they get out of prison, yet we lock up people who are praying and worshiping God because they don't want unborn children to be slaughtered inside the womb. Make it make sense. But that's the Democrat Party for you. That is literally the hypocrisy and the craziness of the Democrat Party. So he did the pardons. Let's see. Withdrew from the World Health Organization. Do you like the iPad? Mom gave me one of her old tablets, so we're using this now on the podcast. Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive government information. Ooh, they are in for a treat, especially when Pam Bondi gets sworn in as the Attorney General. He declared a national emergency at the southern border of the United States. As we all know, we are in a border crisis thanks to Joe Biden. He left the border wide open. Day one of Joe Biden's administration, he overturned basically everything that Trump put into place to secure the border. He overturned executive orders. The Remain in Mexico order took that out. We have seen what happened. We've seen story after story after story after story of illegal immigrants coming over here and just terrorizing America. They are killing people. They are raping people. They are trafficking people. They are drug trafficking. They are terrorists, and they are coming into our nation. He also declared that the cartels are terrorist organizations, and we can treat them as such. Let's see. America First trade policy. Beautiful, putting America before any other country, which is great. We should have done this every single day since our country was founded. Unleashing American energy. We need to stop relying on other countries for our energy when we have all of the resources we need right here under our soil. But it doesn't make sense to me. The Democrats don't want us to be drilling here, but it's okay if Iran and Saudi Arabia drills over there and we get it from there for a higher price, because since we're not drilling it, then the earth is in a better place. Make it make sense. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. That one's probably going to the Supreme Court. The birthright citizenship argument. Basically, if someone's pregnant and they get here in America and they have that child, even though that they're not a U.S. citizen, that child becomes a U.S. citizen because they were born here. That's going to go to the Supreme Court most likely because Trump wants to get rid of that. And I agree. Just because you decided to have your child here doesn't mean that they should be a United States citizen. Let's see, what else do we got? He's done so much in the past 4 days. Restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. That was an interesting one because you know how I am on the death penalty. I'm like 50-50, but also lean more against the death penalty for cost reasons, for Christian reasons, things like that. I just lost my place. But President Biden on December 23rd commuted the sentences of 37 of the 40 most vile and sadistic rapists, child molesters, and murderers on federal death row. Why? Why does the Biden administration prioritize pardoning disgusting criminals over, I don't know, say the pro-life individuals or the people who are walking around the Capitol on January 6th? It doesn't make sense to me, but that is the Democrat Party. They love crime, they love death, and they love children being attacked by older people. Whether it's verbally, physically, sexually, they love it, and that is so disgusting to me. How anyone can support the Democrat Party, how anyone can vote for the Democrat Party. Declaring a national energy emergency. We need to stop getting our stuff from other countries. Reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. And they put a pause on foreign aid, which I think was great because after we saw billions of dollars sent to Ukraine while, disasters here in America, you saw the hurricanes, the people of North Carolina didn't get anything. They were abandoned by Joe Biden. Yet, if Ukraine gets hit with a missile or something, we are sending all of our taxpayer funds over to Ukraine so that we can pay for their war. It's sickening. It's disgusting. And the Joe Biden administration never put the American people first. Let's see here. We are going to go to... There's so many pages. There were 6 pages of executive orders already. Restoring names that honor American greatness. I thought that was so funny. It was about one of the mountains in Alaska, Mount McKinley. He renamed it that. And the Gulf of America. We no longer have the Gulf of Mexico, according to United States and the federal government here in the United States. We have the Gulf of America. Not everyone in the world is going to call it that probably, but the people in the federal government in America now do have to call it the Gulf of America. And I think it's just a flex move of putting America first, and we are done looking weak on the global stage. And to a lot of people, it might just seem like a stupid tactic, a stupid bully move from President Trump, but it sends a message that he is standing firm, he's being bold, he's going outside of the box, and he's not messing around. This administration, we already talked about the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to the government service, ending racial and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. I think that is beautiful. We need to stop hiring people based on their race, their gender, their sexual orientation, their religion. It needs to be who is best for the job. I don't care if you're black, gay, a woman, a man, Hispanic, Islamic, a Christian, Jewish. If you're the best for the job here in America, that's who should get the job. We need to stop with these quotas that you have to meet of having so many black people per white person, so many women per men, so many Islamic people for a Christian. It's all hogwash, and that is why America is in the destruction that we are right now. Why our military is so weak right now, because we are prioritizing getting losers in positions who don't deserve them, but because they're black, but because they're brown, but because they're a woman, but because they're gay, but because they're trans, but because they're Islamic, they get it over the qualified person, a Hispanic with more qualifications, and a black person with less qualifications, but because, the BLM and all that jazz, they give it to the black person. And that vice versa, interchangeable, it doesn't matter. That's the stupidity of this. So we're going back to the merit-based, based on your qualifications, your character, things like that. Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. He made it clear that there is only 2 genders, male and female. You either have XX chromosomes or you have XY chromosomes, and that is something that is so stupid that needs to be said. Why have we gotten to the point in society where we have to announce that there are only 2 genders? This is basic biology. Open up a biology book. Even a kindergartner can understand that there's only a man and a woman. This is how stupid the radical left is, how stupid the Democrat Party is, and how stupid you are if you vote for a Democrat. Just saying. So he wants to get the men out of the women's bathrooms. He wants to get the men out of women's sports. I am all for it. Let's see. What else do we got? Declassification of records concerning assassinations of President John F. Kennedy and MLK. So that's going to be coming out soon, and I think a lot of people are ready for this. They want to know the truth behind all of these murders that could possibly be from the government, that people have conspiracy theories about. I, for one, definitely have a conspiracy theory about the JFK shooting and murder, and I do think that the government was a little bit in on it. I don't know if they were fully behind it, but I do think that they were part of it. Federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina. I feel like I talked to a few of the people from this tribe when I was in Greensboro, North Carolina for the Trump rally. I was talking to some people who were part of a Native American tribe, so I wonder if it was them. I'm not really sure. Ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. I think that's one of the biggest ones. All these government agencies and these government organizations and companies are already, putting these people on leave because we don't need them. We don't need them. We want the best people. We don't care what the color of your skin is. Okay, let's see. What's next? I had a link to the fashion because you know me, I am into fashion. And I gotta find it because I had this whole thing set. I thought we were gonna do it and make it go well. Okay, so let's talk about the fashion statements because that's it for the inauguration. He did superb. The speeches were superb. I don't know how he has the stamina to do what he does. He was up until probably 2, 3 in the morning, I'd say, because he had 3 inauguration balls to go to and dance at after the inauguration. He spoke at the rally. He did his executive orders. He spoke for over 30-some minutes, 45 minutes maybe, right after the swearing-in ceremony. That speech was longer than his speech after he took the oath of office. The man has stamina of a teenager who has just drank a whole gallon of Mountain Dew and took those sugar packets and just downed them. It's incredible to me. It's admiring. I love it. This guy is almost as old as Joe Biden, yet he makes Joe Biden look like he's over 100 years old, and President Trump is like a teenager. It's incredible. I love it. This is a man who doesn't waste time, and he gets things done. So let's talk about the fashion statements, okay, shall we? Because a lot of people had takes. A lot of people were making fun of Melania Trump for her outfit. I loved her outfit. I think it looked like someone from the mafia who's coming back for revenge of someone who tried to attack her husband and kill her husband. The hat, low sitting on her face. You could barely see her eyes, and I thought she just looked classy. It's nice to have class back in the White House, from the hat to the dress, the heels. She had those pumps on. I mean, Melania Trump is a national icon. She is a national treasure. I don't think it was as good as the 2016 inauguration outfit. I thought she looked like, I don't know, like a Jackie Kennedy mixed with Princess Diana style. I love that one. I do love that one. I thought she looked great. Her ball gown, the black and white one, she looks great in anything I think that she wears. I wasn't a fan of the dress. I didn't understand the line, the squiggly line, tape, whatever you want to call it. Not a fan, but she looked good though, so not complaining. Moving on, Jill Biden. Jill Biden finally wore blue. Anytime that Jill Biden, and Donald Trump were together, ever since the election, she has worn red. She wore red on Election Day. She wore red when they were together when he came up to the White House. Well, I guess it was kind of more pinkish, but you get the gist. And I thought it was kind of like indicating that like maybe they did vote for President Trump, and it was kind of like a stab at Kamala. I don't know, but she finally wore blue from head to toe. She wore a blue dress, a blue jacket, a blue gloves, and blue heels. She looked like a blueberry. She looked like the girl who was on Willy Wonka, Violet, who turned into the blueberry-looking blob. Joe Biden, he just looks lost. Kamala, she looks like she was about ready to go to her own funeral, as well as her husband. I can't wait to never see them again. Ivanka Trump. Name someone else who could pull this outfit out or pull this outfit off. She looks like she is from World War I, World War II, whatever it was when they had the berets. What's that song? He's in the army now. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy from Company B. That's what she reminds me of in this outfit, and she can pull it off. She looks great. She is one of the classiest people I've ever listened to and just watched in her outfits. I watched her on a podcast the other day, and just the way that she talks, she sounds like so sophisticated, way more sophisticated than I'll ever sound. And she looks good doing it. And then there's Usha Vance. My gosh, she pulled that pink dress off stunningly during the inauguration. And then I thought she looked like Princess Jasmine during the inaugurational ball. I don't know the colors. I can't tell if it's like a blue, a teal, whatever it may be. She looks great. She's always smiling. I just love it. There's just class brought back. Her, Usha, and Melania together, dynamic duo when it comes to fashion. Carrie Underwood, always great. She was my celebrity crush growing up. I always thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and she still got it. And let me tell you, she crushed singing at the inauguration. I don't know if the music went out, what it was, the band didn't play. I couldn't tell. But when she sang it a cappella, she did not skip a beat. And it was superb. I knew. I posted on Twitter a couple of days before the inauguration. I guess it was 2 days before. I said, can you imagine Carrie Underwood's vocals, angelic vocals, inside the Capitol Rotunda? That is going to be beautiful, and it was. I wish I was there to hear it in person. Hillary Clinton. A lot of people trash Hillary Clinton for her outfits because she usually does wear like a potato sack. This one was a blue potato sack, so I didn't think it looked horrible, but it wasn't the best. But why is she still around? Laura Trump. She kills it every single time. I don't know where these people get their outfits from. I sure as heck can't afford anything that nice. I mean, the men's version of them, the men's suits. Although I don't like suits and I don't like wearing suits. Hence my love for fashion. But she killed it. This navy dress, the blue dress that she wore on Inauguration Day. Amazing. Superb. She looks great. Tiffany Trump also looks great in the velvet. She was showing her little baby bump a little bit in her inauguration ball dress. And then there's Amy Klobuchar, who I guess Amy Klobuchar basically went to Joe Biden's closet and they looked in their closets together and said, let's match today. Let's look like two blueberries. And then there's Lauren Sanchez with Jeff Bezos. Why? Why do you wear lingerie to President Trump's inauguration ceremony when your boobs are hanging out? Her boobs were hanging out. I don't suggest you go and look because it's vulgar. But did you all see when Mark Zuckerberg looked over and then looked down and then he's like and smiled? That is so weird. He's such a creep. Former Vice President Dan Quayle and Marilyn Quayle, she looked great. She had this I don't even know what you call it. She looked great. If you want to look her up, look her up. George Bush and Laura Bush. Why are they still even relevant? President of Ecuador and his first lady. Didn't see them until I read this article, but her outfit, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, Lavinia. Her outfit looked great. I like that dress. So that's it on the dress, the fashion. Loved it. all the guys, I don't know what to say about y'all. Y'all look the same. President Trump, I didn't even look to see what he wore. Did he wear the Navy suit and a red power tie? Because that's usually his go-to. Okay, so as we're closing out this episode of the Better Belongs podcast, I thought we could start doing some reactions again. It's been a long time since I reacted to the lunatic radical left, and I just miss doing it. I miss seeing the stupidity that runs rampant throughout our country. And, a lot of people are just very upset, very heated because Donald Trump is president again, and I love it. It makes my heart happy. So let's start out with this nitwit who is complaining about President Trump rounding up these migrants and sending them back to where they came from.
I just want to say with my entire fucking chest and 10 toes down on my shitty broken tile classroom floor that it will be a frozen day in hell before someone from ICE comes in my classroom to remove a student that they suspect is undocumented first, because I have no undocumented students. What are you talking about? Second, even if I did, 1982 Plyer versus Doe says that it does not matter. Everyone is entitled to a fair and a free, appropriate education. And that's what I'm here to do. I am so sorry I can't come to my door right now. We're learning. We're doing class stuff. You're going to have to come back late.
So I don't think everyone is entitled to what U.S. citizens get in America, especially if you're here illegally. And if she doesn't have undocumented migrants, why is she making this video in the first place? Seems suspicious. Maybe the FBI, ICE should check her out. But it's funny that she says she's not going to let it happen. Well, that's obstruction of justice. So I want to see how far that one gets you, because we could probably come and visit you, and your kids might be able to take a field trip to the prison to see you in there and wave hello as you're sitting in there for obstructing justice and housing illegal immigrants. So why do we continue to, number one, allow illegal immigration, and then number two, defend illegal immigration so that they remain here in America? Now, this next one, I think this is going to be my new ringtone. Listen to this.
Black and indigenous people of color. Black and indigenous people of color. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Asian American Pacific Islander. Asian American Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. We all have a place in this world. We all have a place in this world.
Ow! Ow! When she was doing that, I was expecting a werewolf to come out and howl with her. But I was also expecting Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren to start coming out with feathers on her head, a headdress maybe, with a drum beating it to her little beat, because that sounds like something that she wrote, especially when they started talking about indigenous people. I was seriously waiting for Elizabeth Warren to walk out. What is wrong with these people? Who goes out and films this? Why? I'm pretty sure there's already a song out there. It's like red, yellow, black, and white, all are favored in his sight. God made us all equal. And I don't think that the conservatives, the Republicans, and definitely not Trump, is treating anyone unequal based on the color of their skin and their background and their ethnicity. But it's when you break the laws, that's when we kind of have a problem. But you people don't believe in laws, and that's the problem here in America of the destruction that we are living in. This next one, no words. Now that ICE can raid schools, I'll show these MFers why I'm medicated, since they want to find out. If this doesn't scream mental health crisis in America, I don't know what will. I mean, we got the pink hair, I can't even tell what this is. Medicated. I'm shocked. Consider me shocked. I would have not thought this person was medicated. And I think the only thing that we can do is just like pray for these people, pray for sanity to be restored, because this Satan has a stronghold on some people. He has a grip on a lot of people's lives, and the problem is these people have platforms in this country. These people have power in this country. These people with mental derangement have influence in this country, and it's a scary thing. It's a scary thought, and I want to know what this person would do when ICE shows up at their door. I don't know why they would. I guess if they come in their schools, what are they threatening ICE? Are they threatening to shoot up the school? Not really sure. Not sure I can say what I would like to say about this person. Now, this next one. Sorry, I can't breathe. We have changing weather down here in South Carolina. We just had 5 inches of snow. Hate it. No one knows how to drive in South Carolina, let alone when it snows. We've just passed 4 wrecks today on one road in a span of 8 miles. But this next one, I truly love it because it is the epitome of the Joe Biden administration, how they love criminals. Even the Obama administration, they love criminals, they love crime, they love the destruction of America, and Donald Trump is the one who is enforcing the laws in this country. Watch this.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
F Trump. F Trump. You feel me? Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Obama, for everything that you've done for me. So, he's made it clear, this guy, an illegal migrant with 17 convictions here in America from Haiti, is praising the Joe Biden and the Obama administrations for what? Because he gets out every single time after these convictions, and he's locked up for what? Maybe a day, gets a slap on the wrist, and is put back out on the street, and then they commit more crimes. Yet, God forbid, we send him back where he came from, because he's, number one, here illegally, has committed 17 crimes, has been convicted of 17 crimes, has probably commit way more than 17 crimes, and yet he's upset that Donald Trump is the one who is sending him back, and he's praising Barack Obama and Joe Biden because he was able to get off, what, scotch-free here in America? He was getting all of the benefits and the privileges of being an illegal immigrant here in the United States under the Biden and Obama regimes. That is the Democrat Party. That is the legacy of the Joe Biden administration, putting foreign illegal criminals above the American people. We have homeless veterans who have given their lives, who have given their limbs, who do not have houses, yet Joe Biden made it a priority to fund illegal immigrant housing in America. That is the legacy of the Joe Biden administration. Next up is a picture, just so you know that we have not moved forward in 2025 from stupid gender ideology and this idea that men can pretend to be women and women can pretend to be men, and you can just wake up one day and be the different gender. That's not how biology works. That's not how biology works. That's it. That's the only thing that you can say to that. But we have Carla Sofia Gascon. There's an accent over the O. Don't know how to say that. Don't really care what the name is. It's a man pretending to be a woman, has been nominated for Best Actress for the Academy Awards. Why? Why do we continue to allow this derangement to happen? When are we going to fully push back? I'm glad President Trump is pushing back on this and issuing executive orders to eradicate gender ideology here in America, especially in the federal government. But why are people so weird and so stupid to allow this to happen? It's sick, it's disgusting, and a lot of these people go after the children. And they say that, oh no, they just want to live their own lives. Look at these people and look what they're doing for fun. They are dressing up as women, ugly women. Women don't even look like the ridiculous outfits that these drag queens wear. And then they go and do what? They strip, and many times they read stories to children. I don't get that. I don't get Drag Queen Story Hour. Why would anyone take their kid to listen to a man pretending to be a woman, a freaky, ugly woman with fake boobs on her chest, Read a story to them. Like, how deranged are people in American society? It's stupid. We have to eradicate this ideology completely from America. I think it should be illegal. Just lock these people up, because I'm sick and tired of the disgusting acts of these lunatics. Next up, we have an article in the New York Times. Shocker. It's titled "When Your Son Goes MAGA," and that starts off as, "It's easy for Alex Baer?" ? I think I'm saying that right. It's easy for Alex to gush. It is easy for Alex to gush about her son Eli, whom she describes as a generous and thoughtful college junior who has a serious skateboarding phase. I need to restart that entire sentence because I just butchered it. It is easy for Alex to gush about her son Eli, whom she describes as a generous and thoughtful college junior who had a serious skateboarding phase. She says it's much harder for her to talk about his politics. Miss Baer, 59, is a Democrat in Portland, Oregon, who voted enthusiastically for Vice President Kamala Harris in the November election. She and her ex-husband were appalled that Eli, who's 20, decided to cast his first vote in a presidential election this fall for Donald J. Trump. When Eli brought a Make America Great Again hat home from college this summer, Miss Baer threw it into the corner of his bedroom. They argued about guns, immigration, and abortion, struggling to do so without permanently damaging their relationship. Facts don't matter to you, Miss Baer wrote in a moment of frustration during one text exchange about Mr. Trump's legal battles. Love you, have a good day. A few months removed from Mr. Trump's victory, the two have arrived at an impasse. Miss Baer worries her son is being swayed by conservative opinions fed to him on YouTube and Instagram. Eli feels he is simply learning to think for himself, a quality that he admires in Mr. Trump. And it goes on and on and on. But it's so funny to me that these people are complaining about their kids going off to college and becoming conservative. How do you think the conservative Christian families feel about raising their kids in the church, raising them to be good, moral people, sending them off to college thinking that they're going to be, well taken care of? They're going to surround themselves by like-minded individuals and make right choices and make good choices for themselves, their bodies, and other people. And then they come home for Thanksgiving break and they're pregnant, they drink constantly, they're doing drugs, they have this radical leftist ideology, this woke ideology. They want free tuition. They want everything given to them for free. They believe that illegal immigrants should be able to just cross the border and have whatever rights in America that you and I have. They want everything to be free. They want these migrants to get free housing, free healthcare, free food. They don't want the people in America to have to work for the money that they get. They don't have to work for the possessions that they have. They want to tax the rich and make the rich become more of the middle class, and they want to steal from the rich and give to the poor. How do you think those parents feel when they send their kid off to college and that kid comes back as a leftist lunatic? Because that's what's been happening, because over the past, 10 years, we have this leftist indoctrination in our schools where they are forcing this Democrat leftist ideology down the throats of students and changing their minds and infecting their minds with this horrible bacterial infection of ideology and sending them back home, and they have just become fully radicalized. I just saw in my memories, it popped up 4 years ago. Yesterday, I fully jumped into the political fight because my syllabus had, if you consume right-wing media, and it listed all of them, none of our faculty is going to take you seriously. And that's what's happening all across America in these colleges, and it's happening in high schools, and it's happening in elementary schools. You have pride flags in elementary schools. You have teachers trying to get the children to say their pronouns. You have actual teachers who are dressing up as the opposite gender and sex to, fulfill their disgusting fetish of dressing up in front of children. It's just gross. So how do you think the parents have felt over these years that their kids are coming back as leftist lunatics? Womp womp is what I have to say for you people. These kids are growing up and learning the right things now. It's usually you're liberal in your early 20s, and then you become more conservative as you get older, but you're starting out more conservative now at a younger age because people are just so fed up with what's happening in our country. They're so fed up with what happened during the Joe Biden administration. They're tired of having this leftist ideology shoved down their throats. They're tired of looking over in the classroom and seeing the pink-haired, purple-haired nimwit thinking that she's a cat, licking her arm, wiping it on her eyebrow, and then saying, I have to go to the bathroom, and then wants a litter box in the bathroom so that she could go into the bathroom. That is the ideology of the radical leftist Democrat Party. They want you just to be able to do whatever you want and expect others to just agree, nod their head yes, and follow along and play along in their fantasy world. People are sick of it. Excuse me for that little rant there. I think people are just over it. I've been over it. I don't care what friends I lose because I am bold in what I believe. I stand firm on what I believe. I do not care what friends I lose. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that fact that it's better to have 5 core friends who believe what you believe, who think like you do, who have the same Christian conservative values as you do, and not have these friends who will just stab you on the back because you voted for Donald Trump. I am a tolerant person. I can have friends who are Democrats, but Democrats don't want me as a friend because they think I'm this radical lunatic because I want to stick to what the Bible says and what the Constitution says, and I don't want to change society for the worse. But there's people out there who just cannot be tolerant, yet they are the party of tolerancy. Speaking of woke leftist lunatics, let's play this video of the bishop at the National Prayer Service with President Trump and his family.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
That says it all. Thank God for J.D. Vance.
Who fear for their lives. And the people.
And Laura
the people
She's
who
over
pick
now.
Our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we...
It's just ridiculous. I mean, number one, woman bishop doesn't exist. Women can't be in that position. Read the Bible. And it's clear that they don't read the Bible because they believe all this woke Jesus bullcrap. And they are making Jesus out to be someone that he's not. They're making the Bible to be out. They're making the Bible out to be something that it's not. And they want us all to believe it and accept it, and we're not going to. And I think it's good to see J.D. Vance making a face, seeing President Trump make a face. Melania Trump is giving her this death stare. I don't think she's ever looked this mean before, and I love it. And President Trump demanded an apology, rightfully so. And then this bishop decided to go on this media tour. She was on The View, and then she was on either MSNBC or CNN or whatever that leftist outlet is. And it's just sickening that these are the leaders in the church, quote unquote, when they're already going against biblical values, biblical doctrine. I mean, she looks like the typical leftist lunatic. Last but not least, to close this out, we should leave on a high note. Let's play this video from one of the inaugural balls after President Trump was inaugurated. I don't think it gets any better than this. I could cry. Hold on, let me get myself together here. You're probably like wondering why I'm tearing up over that. We're just back. America is back. In that video, I mean, he deserves that celebration. He deserves to be able to have the best time ever that night. Everything that he's gone through as a candidate for president in 2015, going into 2016, winning the presidency, the persecution from the radical left that he has had gone through while he was president, the stolen election, and then being prosecuted day after day after day, even when he's not president anymore, because they knew that he was going to run again, and they knew that the American people were not happy with the Joe Biden administration. They knew that President Trump was the man of the people. He deserves to be able to celebrate. And I choke up every single time I see him do that dance, because it's just such a huge contrast from the radical left. Our side is just happy. We're joyful. Their side is just filled with hate. They hate everyone. They hate you if you have a different opinion than they do. They were just some awful, miserable losers. And President Trump, I'm just so excited for 4 years that we get to have with him, because when he's gone, there's not going to be any other candidate like that. And that's why, like, throughout the whole campaign, this past election, like, I was getting emotional at different times, like watching his speeches and stuff, because there's not ever, I don't think, ever going to be a candidate like him. He just embodies the American dream. He embodies what it means to be an American, the pride that he has for this country, the backbone that he has to stand up for this country, the love that he has for the American people. He wants this country to be great. I truly believe it. I don't believe he's in it for himself whatsoever. And to see Melania just being there smiling and dancing too, you know, she's got a lot of flack over the past couple years, and to see them together, smiling together, hanging out together, dancing together, I love it, because a lot of people just question their dynamic and question their marriage and things, and to see how close she is with Barron and how great of a mother she is. You can tell how great of a mother she is, and to see Barron get more in the spotlight, I just love it. It just makes me happy, but also sad, because this 4 years I feel like is just going to go by so quick. And we're going to lose a national treasure as president. And I don't know if anyone can ever fill his shoes. I can promise you, even if someone is as great as him in office with policy-wise and everything like that, I can promise you there's never going to be a candidate Trump ever again. There's not one person in this world that can match his energy, his stamina, his love for this country, his humor. He's got it all. He's the full package of what you want a president to be. Does he say some harsh things at times? Absolutely. But I think the man has a backbone like no other. And I'm not putting him on this like full pedestal, as you all know. There's times that I have criticized him, definitely, especially when it comes to faith-based things like abortion, things like that. And I'm the first one to call people out. I'm not saying like I'm the very first person, but like I own it. If I praise someone and then the next day they turn around and do something ridiculous, I call it out. I don't sit back and try to defend them. And I've certainly called President Trump out on several things over social media. But overall, I think he just genuinely loves this country. He genuinely loves what he does. He genuinely loves helping people. He genuinely loves seeing people thrive in America, seeing the economy thrive, seeing people be safe in America. He loves it, and I can definitely see it. And I just cannot wait to see what we got these next 4 years. I feel like there's going to be battles that we have to all face as Americans, and in society. We have all these illegal people in America right now. I think that's why he's trying to get them out quick before something happens, before an attack happens. But we're all going to continue to face battles. Not every day is going to be the most great day ever. I'm sure he's going to have some bad days as president. Some things are not going to go the way that we all want them to go. And, you know, that's just the battle that we have to face and give it to God, and just continue to fight every single day to make America a better place. And more importantly, from my background, what I do, my job, trying to make America more godly again. I think it's so important that we bring God back to the center of our nation, of our government, of our society. And if I'm just one piece of the puzzle, I'm honored to be able to help in any way possible. And I think that's what we should all be striving for, is just making disciples of Christ and spreading the gospel and just trying to make America a better place and a more holy place, if you will. Although no country can really be holy, but we can always strive to be better biblically, morally, financially, politically. And we'll end it there. We will see you next week on the Battle Belongs podcast. Everyone, take care. God bless. Pray for this country. Continue to pray for President Trump, for his safety, for his discernment, for his guidance to make America great again. Take care. God bless.